Alright, we're going to do a bit more news this week. Um, and I thought I'd do some upcoming frames and a camera. So I'm going to start with this frame. This is the new Armatan frame. This is the, not replacement, this is the sort of upgrade for their Chameleon frame, which a lot of people had as last year's best frame, or at least in their top five. This is the Armatan Rooster. Um, it's currently out of stock, so this won't ship until the 12th, which is still a few more days away for me. Um, but yeah, so this it's a very similar shape to the Chameleon. It looks a little bit more squat. The arms are, well, the arms are individual arms as well, whereas the Chameleon was a single plate. And the other section of importance is this bit up the top. The Chameleon used an aluminium front end, and the that's probably the best view of it. This is all titanium, which is really interesting. That makes it extremely strong. So I'm going to put a link to Armatan's video, if I remember, about this in the description below. And you can say, yeah, I can see Chris from Armatan giving this a jolly good whack, and it doesn't really phase it at all. He actually starts hitting it really quite hard. So this looks like it's going to be a really nice frame, and like I said, this is technically available now, but currently out of stock. It'll probably be back in stock by the time this video goes up, maybe. Yeah, so the second frame I was going to show was this one. So this is Impulse RC Reverb. This is their new version of their Alien frame, and it looks kind of similar to the Alien frame, but it's a little bit different. Whoa, that zooms in a long way. Maybe I'll find a better. Nope, none of these are really good. I'll just start clicking through these so we can have a good look at it. So the yeah, it's got a very similar shape to the Alien. It looks a bit lighter in construction, which is kind of good. This middle section, to me at least, looks a little bit shorter, but very similar to the Alien, which is probably a good thing. The Alien's a good couple of years old now, and it's still a really popular frame. So I know Impulse has struggled to release a new frame. They had the Helix for a while, but that wasn't really that popular. And mainly it's because the Alien is such a good frame. So the main difference with this is these little connectors here, where they've got the antenna pole. These actually look really neat. They just seem to sit between the posts, and you feed your. Well, I'm not going to be able to do it without moving the mouse. You feed your antenna from your receiver up through here, and it keeps it out of the props. That's really quite nice. The Alien had something similar, where it had little antenna pole down the end, but this looks actually like a really nice setup that they've got there. So yeah, this one was actually released before Christmas, so it's a little bit older than the Rooster, but it actually looks like it's going to be a pretty good frame. You can order it with a PDB, the same as the Alien. It's a very similar PDB. It actually looks a bit smaller, which is probably a good thing. And I believe the battery is supposed to be mounted on the top. We'll get a side view on the top on this LiPo pad here, because when you look underneath, these have got. It's going to be very difficult to mount a battery underneath because of the way these mount. But on the upside, that should mean they shouldn't break, which is good. It'll give you something to land on as well. So the third frame I wanted to show, because we've got three frames, is another Armatan frame. It's the Mongoose. This is what it looks like. It's currently not on the Armatan website, so this is an upcoming frame that Armatan will be releasing. Unlike most of their other frames, this comes in as the Light series, so it's going to be without a warranty. The main thing for this is a Hyperlight frame. It's only, I think Chris said 60 grams or something. Apparently it weighs a bit less than the Floss, which is one of the lightest frames you can get. And it's a really simple construction. So there's a bottom plate, there's four arms, a top plate, and four standoffs, and that's it. So these arms are actually separate. They're separate on the floss as well. And the main reason why it can be so light is actually these red posts up the front here. I've got a better shot of them in black. They look like this. So the post goes obviously top to bottom, and then it's got this little bit on the side. And what you do is the camera goes in the middle there, and the screws for the camera go into this bit here. So there is no camera stand. It's built into the front standoffs, and that actually adds takes off quite a bit of weight. Add on to that, these arms are, I think they said 3mm thick. They're not thin arms, and they're definitely not little twiggler arms either. They're a decent width. So this looks like it could be a pretty good frame. I'm interested in this frame because I've never built a Hyperlight before. It's always been one of those things that's interested me. So I might be getting this frame. I don't know yet. But yeah, that's another Armatan frame. That yeah, we might be seeing more of this on the channel. And the last thing I wanted to show off was some news that I got this morning, and if you can read the title, it says Runcam Split Mini. And this is really interesting to me. So one of the Runcams have made a split for a while, and that's it's a camera with a board at the back, and you use the same camera as your high def camera as your FPV camera. So it means you don't need to be carrying a GoPro around. You can use their split to record your high def, and also you get your FPV view. If I scroll down, this is what they do. This is your HD recording, and essentially what they do is they cut out a 4:3 bit in the middle and just basically push it out at much lower quality. And that goes off to your FPV transmitter, and that's what you see in your goggles. So that's will come through as a standard def picture, but yet when it records as a high def. And they've managed to do this with very little to no latency, which is very good. And yeah, obviously the advantage of that is that you can build the quad with just one camera in it. It makes it a lot lighter, and it's easier to manage. The downside has been the camera's always been a full-sized camera. It's always been an HS1177 style camera, and the board has been I'm going to say full size again. It's still small, but full size flight controller size. So 35mm spacing on the screws, or 38mm spacing, whatever it is. And that's great for 5-inch quads, but 5-inch quads are the ones that don't really have any trouble lifting GoPros. The ones that have problems lifting high def recording cameras are the little micro quads, and they traditionally have used smaller cameras and smaller boards because they're a lot smaller. So 2-inch and 3-inch props on these things can't carry a GoPro, and that's where this comes in. So this will be actually the third split that they've got, and the first mini. So this is a small camera and a small recording board. These are 20 by 20 spaced holes, and this camera is a 19mm by 19mm. So if we keep going down, it has the sizes here. So this is the same as their mini cameras that they've got. These are M2 screw holes on the side, the same as the mini cameras that they've been making. And the board itself is it's actually two boards, and they connect together. I believe through these screws. I'm not entirely sure how it all connects together. This is the only material that I've seen. But yeah, obviously this means that you can fit them in much smaller quads. This looks like a quad with maybe 2-inch props at the biggest, and it fits in there nicely in part of the stack. So you can get one of these tiny micro flight controllers, put it above or below these two boards for the split, add your FPV transmitter, and that's you done. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing this one. Hopefully it's at least as good a quality as the existing splits. The split 2 is actually pretty good. The split 1 had a couple of flaws, but they fixed a lot of those in version 2. So hopefully they continued that with this mini, and continued fixing the issues that they've got. Oh, that actually looks like how it connects there. There's a little join between the two of the boards there. Alright, cool. So they do have a little connector between them. So they'll need to be the correct distance apart. That'll be, they give you the standoffs, don't they? Yes, they give you the standoffs anyway, and you get these metal ones as well. It's nice. But you'll probably have to set it up exactly as they say here, or you'll have some problems. But yeah, so this means you can make your tiny micro quads and still have 1080p 60 frames a second recording, and it's recording exactly what you're seeing in your goggles, just in much higher def. Yeah, so that was all the news I wanted to bring you this week. If you like that, give it a thumbs up, and maybe think about subscribing. Thanks very much.